Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So I have for you guys today, I have another episode of the Championship Roundup, guys. So I think this is episode 7 now of the Championship Roundup. So thank you so much for all the support you guys have showed on this series so far. So basically what we do in this series, guys, we go over each individual championship match. I give my opinion on it, but what I'm really interested to know is how you think your team played over the weekend, guys. So in the comments down below, make sure you do leave a comment as to how your team played this weekend. But what I like more than anything from this series, guys, is that we have different fans from each individual club watching the videos, and we get debates going on in the comments down below. That's what I like to see. And yeah, so make sure you get your comments in the comments down below as to how you think your team played this weekend. So before we do go into anything here, guys, I will put your comments on screen now. So if any of you guys did manage to guess the correct scoreline to any of these week's fixtures, then I will leave your comment on screen now, guys. So fair play to everyone who did correctly guess a scoreline prediction this week. I think this week I only managed to get one prediction right, but saying that, each week I've done this series so far, I've always at least got one scoreline correct, so I'm keeping that trend going this week. But one's not the best for me, but it's not the worst either. So the first game we have, guys, is Cardiff coming up against Leeds United. So in the end, Leeds United actually managed to leave victorious with a 2-0 victory, and this is just piled on top really of the poor start that Cardiff have had to this season, and they are now rock bottom of the championship. But to be fair to Cardiff, I think they did start this game with some intent, and they had quite a few chances in the first half to take the lead, and I think that's what they were made to pay for in the second half when Leeds United were a lot more clinical. But I do think that if Cardiff are going to get out of this mess, it's going forward that they severely have to improve this season. I mean, Ricky Lambert's been brought in to do that job. So far, he'll need time to settle into that squad. But Cardiff, do you think Ricky Lambert's the right guy for your club that you need at the moment to score the goals? Let me know in the comments down below. But Leeds United looked a different team in the second half. I think this result has taken some of the pressure off Gary Monk, and it was a fantastic strike from Hernandez which topped it all off and gave Leeds United a 2-0 victory in the end. This game we then go to is Barnsley getting beat 2-1 by Reading at home. So this one was a bit of an odd match as well, but first of all, we had to talk about McCleary for a minute here, guys, because first of all, in the first half, he had a terrific match. He was lighting up Oakwell. He was playing fantastic down that right-hand side. He did, however, miss a penalty, but subsequently, he managed to follow up the rebound and get his goal for this match. When his moment of madness came, he pushed Conor Hurahan down to the floor and sought a red card for that. And really, this was something that could have been so avoidable for Reading, and I think he really did. He could have jeopardised the result of this game, and he really could have handed it back into Barnsley, since Reading had to play so long of this match with 10 men. So Reading fans, I'll be really interested to hear from you guys as to what you think of the McCleary incident. However, on a positive note for Reading, John Swift's second was a fantastic goal. It's a really good goal that he managed to pick out, and that's just continued on with his terrific start to this season. And Barnsley, to be fair to them, did have quite a few opportunities in this match, especially in the second half, and were quite unlucky towards the end not to actually get an equaliser. But you can't really take anything away from Barnsley because it has been a great start for them for the season. The next match we then go to, guys, is Blackburn finally getting a victory, winning 4-2 against Rotherham. So in this match, it was quite a nervy start for Blackburn. Rotherham actually managed to take the lead after a nice finish from Danny Ward, but Blackburn managed to get back into this match, and the goals Blackburn scored, the first one was terrific. It was a very good strike, but other than that, I think Rotherham's defending really was that question in this match. I think that if Rotherham aren't going to go down, this is the area where they're really going to struggle this season. It's defensively. I think it's been questioned quite a few times so far this season, but this match it really was highlighted. And fair play to Blackburn, they finally obviously managed to get their first win of the season. I think goals for Gallagher, he managed to get another goal today. Emnes as well going forward, he looked quite deadly. So Blackburn will be hoping that this will be a springboard for future success in the league this season. But Rotherham fans, do you think that Stubbs will be the right person this season to get you out of this probably relegation battle that it's going to be this season? Do you think that Stubbs is the right guy for you? Let me know in the comments down below. And then to the next game, guys. Oh my word, I don't know where to start with this. Brentford 5, Preston North End 0, and this result just pains me, really. Obviously, as a Preston fan myself, I don't know where to begin with this match. I think the thing that annoys me the most out of this match is that Brentford weren't actually that good. They weren't like unplayable or something that the 5-0 scoreline would suggest. And in the first half, really, Preston didn't actually play that bad. I thought both teams were in the first half. Preston had quite a few opportunities actually to even take the lead in this match, but the second half was just a complete and utter shambles. To concede 3 goals in 4 minutes is just totally unacceptable, and it's embarrassing, really. It's totally embarrassing. And I've seen Simon Grayson, the manager, getting quite a lot of stick from the fans after this match, and rightly so. This is his team at the end of the day, but I think some of the players really need to hold their head in shame. I mean, some of the goals we conceded in this match was just it was disgraceful. It is absolutely disgraceful. I mean, the own goal that Humphrey scored was awful. The back pass we had with Tom Clark, I really can't say anything about this because it is just absolutely shambolic. And what this has done more than anything is it's magnified our game on Friday night against Wigan. That's got such a big meaning behind it now, and if we're not to get anything from that match, then Simon Grayson will be put under monumental pressure after that. So that game is now huge. But in terms of Brentford, you know, fair play to them. I think Brentford weren't actually great in this match, but fair play to them. They were obviously better than us. Also as well, fair play to Scott Hogan. Of course, he managed to get a hat-trick. And it was interesting what Hogan said after the match. He said it was probably the worst we played to get a 5-0 victory ever, and that pretty much sums it up. We were just awful, really. The next game we then go to, guys, is Bristol City drawing 1 apiece with Derby County. So I think what this game showed more than anything was why Derby have struggled so far this season. The goal that Derby scored came from a defensive mistake from Aidan Flint, so that one you can put down to Bristol City's wrongdoing really, more than Derby doing the right thing. And after this match, Derby really should have sealed the victory up. I mean, they had a catalogue of chances in this game, and it's just shown really why they've been struggling so far this season. So Derby County fans, I'd be very interested to hear from you as to what's going wrong going forward. You know, who's to blame? Is it the tactics? Is it the service? Is it the strikers themselves? Because in this game, you know, you have plenty of chances. You just couldn't seem to put any of them on target. I mean, Frankie Fielding, the Bristol City goalkeeper, did make a couple of decent saves, so fair play to him. But Bristol City did manage to get back into this match. It was an Aaron Wilbraham goal, and Bristol City might even be disappointed they didn't win this match, since the amount of opportunities Derby actually wasted in this match. So fair play to Bristol City for getting back into it. The next game we then go to is Burton Albion coming up against Brighton and Hove Albion. So this one was a bit of a funny one as well. I think it was quite harsh on Burton, really. They managed to hold out to the 85th minute. They managed to keep it goalless until then, but then after that, Brighton finally managed to break the deadlock and make it 1-0. I think it was quite a defensive display, this one from Burton, but understandably so. I mean, going up against a team like Brighton when you're a team which has got, you know, the sort of budget that Burton has got, fair play to them. But to be fair to Burton Albion, they did actually have quite a few chances in this match where they could have scored themselves, but it just wasn't to be in this one. But in terms of Brighton and Hove Albion, that's now 2 successive wins for Brighton, so they'll be hoping that they can continue this run, and that this will set the foundations now for promotion this season. So what do you think of that, Brighton fans? Do you think this could be your year? Let me know down below. Next game we then go to is Huddersfield managing to beat QPR by 2-1 in this match. So Huddersfield managing to get back to winning ways in this one after a victory over QPR. So I think in the first half especially, Huddersfield had a catalogue of chances in this match. And I think they'll have been perhaps quite disappointed actually, only to go in at 1-0 at half time considering the amount of chances they actually had. But I do think this was a massive result for Huddersfield. I think if they weren't to pick up a victory today against QPR, it might have been a little bit difficult to bring back the momentum after a defeat in midweek, of course. But with this victory, they have managed to stay at the top of the table and keep that momentum going. In terms of QPR, they had a late surge in this match where they tried to get back into it, but they just couldn't manage to find that equaliser. But it was always going to be tough for QPR, really. Coming off the back of a 6-0 defeat in midweek, I was very interested to actually see how QPR would respond to this. I mean, going away to Huddersfield, it was always going to be a tough match, but they handled themselves quite well, and in spells, they actually had the better of Huddersfield. It just wasn't to be, and they couldn't find that equaliser in the end. But I do think Huddersfield did deserve the win in the end, and they're back to winning ways now. The next match we then go to is Ipswich drawing 0-0 with Aston Villa. So for this one, neither side could find the back of the net. I'd say out of these two teams, I'd say Ipswich had the better of it. I think they had the better chances in this match, in my opinion. But neither team really dominated the match as to say they definitely deserved to win this game. And I saw a stat actually after this match saying that Aston Villa have created more chances than anyone else in the Championship so far. But despite that, they've only scored 8 goals so far this season. So really, that says more than anything that they're going to need to be more clinical. And I wouldn't think I'd be saying that, you know, considering the strike force they've got at Aston Villa and the options they've got available there. I think Di Matteo is still trying to figure out what his best 11 is. I still don't think he knows what that is. But and it's still not really managing to click on a consistent basis for Aston Villa. But I think once Di Matteo does get it right with the squad he's got available at Aston Villa, they really could do damage this year. But it's just a question of whether they can do that soon enough to make an impact. But in the end, they did manage to finish 0-0, which was probably the fair result in the end, being a draw, really. The next match we then go to, guys, is Newcastle against Wolves. So this one being the shock of the weekend after Wolves managed to pick up a 2-0 victory away to Newcastle. So the reason this was the shock of the weekend is because Newcastle were coming off the back of a 6-0 victory and Wolves were coming off the back of a 4-0 defeat in midweek. So everyone was tipping Newcastle to win this match, but that just wasn't to be in this one. In this game, I thought Wolves showed the complete performance. I thought going forward, they looked excellent. You know, they managed to, of course, get 2 goals in this game. game. But defensively as well, they were fantastic. They soaked up a lot of pressure from this Newcastle side. I think anyone that goes to St James's Park this season is always going to be bombarded with chances which Newcastle had. But Wolves dealt very well with that threat. And Kolakimi in the Wolves now, I've got to give a shout out to him because he pulled off some terrific saves in this match to keep Wolves in it at one point as well. And Newcastle definitely weren't helped by Victor Anita getting sent off late on, which really topped up what was a disappointing weekend really for Newcastle. So Newcastle fans, what do you think of this? Do you think it'll just be a slight little blip? Because I wouldn't get overly too concerned considering the run you've been on. As long as you're able to pick it up as soon as possible, you still should be alright this season. The next game we then go to, guys, is Nottingham Forest losing 2-1 to Norwich at the City Ground. So this is the match that I successfully managed to predict this week, guys. So this is the one prediction that I actually managed to get right. And so for this match, Forest actually went in at half-time leading 1-0. In the first half, it was a bit of a funny game, this one, actually. Norwich looked a little bit off in the first half. They weren't going at their full potential, but in the second half was a complete contrast to that. I think in this first half, Forest looked decent, but in the second half, it was just the complete opposite. Norwich were by far the better team in the second half, and Forest really just sunk back into their shell, really. Weren't really looking to capitalise on the first goal they've got. And Norwich really did look excellent in the second half, and I think it's these sort of games for Norwich which they're going to need to be winning this season if they are going to get automatic promotion. So they've obviously managed to come back from behind, and fair play for them for doing that. So these are the sort of matches, like I say, that they need to win, and this is just another step in the right direction. So Norwich fans, do you think this will be a successful season for you? And do you think you'll get automatic come the end of the year? Let me know down below. The next match we then go to is another 0-0 draw, this time between Wigan and Fulham. So for this match, I was actually tipping Fulham to go ahead and win this match. Obviously, it's been quite a good start for Fulham this year. They were rallying quite high in the table going into this match. And of course, with Wigan down in the relegation zone, I was of course fancying Fulham for this one. But neither side in the end could manage to find the back of the net. And it was actually quite an interesting goalless draw, I must say that. It was quite an end-to-end sort of match. Both teams had a lot of chances, but neither could really capitalise on it. But in terms of defensive performances, I suppose both teams will be proud. It was just that lacking edging final quality that both these sides will be disappointed with. So Wigan's next match is actually going up against Preston North End, my team, on a Friday night. So I'll probably be doing the vlog for that match. But that's a massive game for both teams. I think 3 points for either Preston or Wigan would be absolutely huge. But Fulham so far this season, they had a fantastic start. Since then, in a couple of their recent results, they managed to tail off a little bit. They've dropped down the table a little bit now, but nothing too majorly to worry about Fulham. I think they'll be able to bounce back in due course. And then the last match, guys, we go to is Birmingham managed to pull up a late victory against Sheffield Wednesday by 2-1. So in this match, Sheffield Wednesday were left hugely disappointed after they threw away their missed opportunities in this match in the last 10 minutes to Birmingham. In the first half, Sheffield Wednesday had a catalogue of chances, and it's still beyond me how they didn't manage to get any of them in, because they had a numerous amount of opportunities, and for them to not score any of them really is quite a concern for Sheffield Wednesday. But I think more than anything, what was the concern for Wednesday after this match, obviously, Gary Hooper managing to get the goal for them. The defending for the second goal that Birmingham scored really wasn't. It's something that a team like Sheffield Wednesday really should be avoiding conceding goals like that. But fair play to Birmingham. You know, they stuck in the match even when Wednesday were on top. There was always sort of that inkling when Wednesday were missing their chances that Birmingham could potentially get something from this match. So for them to get all 3 points in the end, fair play to Birmingham. But Sheffield Wednesday will no doubt be hugely disappointed. But what I'll be interested to hear from Sheffield Wednesday fans is what have you thought of Adam Reach so far? I'll be very interested to know. I know he was playing in this match. Put a couple of decent crosses in here and there, but I'll be interested to hear from the Wednesday fans themselves. What do you think of Adam Reach so far? So now, guys, I will now wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Roundup, guys. So to the side of me, I will leave the current Championship table. So obviously it's still early on in the season, so we can't really read too much into it at this point. But the teams who are currently making up the top 6, we have Huddersfield, Norwich, Newcastle, Barnsley, Birmingham and Brentford. So fantastic starts to the season for all of them. And then the teams in the relegation zone currently, we have a new team that is now bottom. We have Cardiff. Then we have just above them, we have Blackburn and Wigan. So a big weekend of fixtures there, guys. And next weekend's going to be another big one. I can already feel it. So if you have enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you leave a like on the video. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you check out all the links in the description down below. Make sure you subscribe for regular Championship content. And also as well, make sure you follow me on Twitter. I always tweet before I upload a video. Therefore, I'll never miss a video ever again, guys. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.